Here's my trusses. I'm going to do another. I only did one side. These whatever you call them, pieces of wood that'll tie it together. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side on each one, so I have extra strength. And I just laid them out here so I know that it's going to reach across, because that same measurement is up here. So I know if it works down here, it's going to work up there. I'm going to attempt to explain what I did, just to make it more simple to get the right lengths on this. I just went the most simple route, and if you look, basically you're trying to make half of this truss, and to get the lengths there, and then all of the lengths are going to be the same on the other half. So in theory, all of these boards are going to be the exact same length and the exact same angle cut, which is 22.5 degrees. And it's 22.5 because you take 22.5 times 2 makes 45 degrees. So basically you're just trying to get that 45 degree angle for it to get halfway. Hopefully this is making sense, but I mean basically the other 45 degrees is the other half, and then you'll get the 90 degrees that you need. But you can make this board longer so you have more headroom, and it's just this board's going to get shorter as you get taller, and but the 22.5 degrees is going to be the same. But I just decided to make them all equal to make it simple. So I just need the halfway point measurement, and then I come over here and I mark where the halfway point is on the floor. I mark exactly half, and then I put a stopper there so I know that's exactly my halfway point. So all I needed was just a workshop bench type of thing. I cut one board at 22.5 degrees, and I put it right there at that halfway mark. This should be here, but I scooted over a 2x4 length to take care of that length. And I made sure it's just flat right against there. And then on the other side, I just cut it at 22.5 degrees as well and laid it flat against that, and then put a little stopper there. So they're going to cross over at some point, and then I just marked the marker, exactly that marker down there, so the angle that way. Measure twice, cut once. Keep double checking yourself. Mark this with a pencil so I knew every time I put it there I could line it up. Some people put in stoppers here and here so it just fits in exactly. So then I just measure the whole floor, the entire span across, and then I get that measurement, then I put another stopper over there to mark exactly where that's going to be. I get one half there and then the other half there. So my two truss halves are going to have to equal that. And then I mark it with pencil to make sure. So that's what I did the whole process. And the only way I know for sure that it's working is that you can see the line up, and I know that they go all the way across and they're fitting. So I know it's going to work up there. So you know, when you're cutting a gambrel roof like this angle right here, 22.5 degrees, this seems pretty standard. It's like it's marked out on the miter saw. And now that I have this one this one board that the measurements and the angles are right on it. Now I could just set it on top of the next board and just mark it off and cut it. So now this should just go really quick in getting these. So I've been cutting these little connectors here for the trusses. Pretty much just cut them 12 inches by 6 inches and then cut the top off there, and I'll show you how I got the angle on that. I have this one laid out, the first truss there. So I got this one on there before and I just traced a line behind it. I just put some liquid nails adhesive on the other side. I'm actually going to do 2 plates on each side. Some people just do one, but I like the 2 plates idea. So I need 2 end trusses for the extra rigid support. I don't think there's any particular place. I just kind of, that's the same angle as 22.5 degrees. So I didn't have to change the chop saw angle. And it's flat on the bottom, so that was pretty easy. Just gave it extra support. Show you what I've done so far with these end pieces. Just did a lot of gluing, screwing, and putting those plates on there and screwing it into the plywood or the OSB. So probably pretty self-explanatory. There's just not a lot. I mean, there's just a lot of cutting and gluing and screwing on here. So it's just a lot of monotonous repeating work. So once I get these end pieces up, the 2 of them, then hopefully this will accelerate into just putting the rest of the trusses up. And I have yet to figure out the procedure for that. So I wasn't able to get the roof on there before the snowstorm. And it wasn't much snow, but it's pretty chilly. So I'm going to attempt to do that today. I had to get a little inventive with what I want to do with the loft area, because I want to hang it below where the top plate is, because I could maximize the room up there. It's pretty inspiring though when I take a look here. It's a little taller than I was imagining, but so I'll probably start just by screwing this in here, 2x6, about right there, all the way across, and then this is where the joist for the loft will sit on. And then I'll probably put an additional support right under it just to make sure it's supported. And put the supports right where a beam is. I don't know, I haven't quite figured that out yet, but I know I could at least screw it in, and then I could probably even install the joists just with it screwed in, and then I could figure out the supports later. But once I have those joists in and that loft area platform, then I'll be able to put the roof on pretty easily without worrying about falling off of there. Well, I got most of them up there. I just put kind of one screw in, and it'll just keep it up. This is still 7.5 feet tall. The ceiling will be, so it isn't perfect. I know it's not aligning perfectly. Like, It's going to be good enough for a shed though. I mean, and for my first time anyway. Now that I have the basic loft down there, I'm going to have better access for the roof area. I feel a lot better about that. And those the top pieces are going to be 3 feet wide exactly, so I need to cut those. And I don't have a table saw, so I saw this idea online, and it seems like a really good idea to make sure your cuts are straight. Measure it off and then clamp it down with a straight board. Sorry, my GoPro is acting up, so I haven't been able to record everything. My battery and to get some of those sheets on there, I just used a couple of those long boards and just put it right at the edge, and then pushed it up with one hand until it sat there, and that worked really well for a one-person job. And luckily I remembered to stagger the OSB so that there's no seams coming together like in 4 corners, if that makes sense. Got it as straight as I could possibly get. I mean, you got like millimeters off here, maybe a quarter of an inch play there, you know. It's not the perfect job. I just don't have the tools to make it all straight like I want it to. Don't have a table saw with me, so I didn't really show all the footage today just because it was just trimming up all these little pieces so they'd fit in. I still have to trim that, or I thought of actually utilizing that just for an extended roof there for the rain, stuff like that. So today I put some effort into an extension out in front. This is pretty much 2 of these trusses put together just with just a 2x4 of about 10 inches, I believe, and separating it. So I just screwed them in there just like that. So it's pretty simple. And so I'm going to take that and put it up front and just attach it all the way across here so it'll extend out. And then I actually thought of putting in just a little balcony here, just a small one. And it's probably not going to have much of a purpose except for just be fun, and practice for me. Mostly this project is a practice piece, and it's just going to be a shed that I'm thinking further along into the future as I build things, as I gain more experience. So this is what I'm going to do to get the supports for the little balcony out there. And I just cut out a little hole there for a 2x6, and I'm going to have a treated 2x6 going out there just like that. Sister it up with this 2x6. It'll come back about here or so. And then I'm going to use this treated fence post to give that support and also this extra support. So I was planning on doing that in the first place, but it's going to be able to support both. And then on the outside, put some treated 2x6 or whatever, and do kind of an angle right to the pillar foundations that are sticking out there. So I'm going to utilize the extra little space on the pillars, utilize that foundation, and then have some extra support for that balcony. But I have it pretty much all buttoned up. I just need to figure out how to do shingles. So this is the door I found for it, and it already has the frame and everything that comes with it, even a storm door. And it cost $100. Someone was getting rid of it, but I decided to go this route because I've just heard it's a pain in the butt to try to customize a door to a frame, and then so this came with everything. Pretty much you just need to set it in there, measure it, and a window that I found for 25 bucks. The lady had it on for about 50 bucks, but it was Black Friday, so she gave me a deal. And she just wanted to get rid of it, so that's a really nice window for. And I'm working on the frame right now. I have the door frame sitting there, so it makes it really easy for me. I just didn't want a lot of hassle. It came with all the hardware and everything. I'll just show you this real quick. This is the two 2x6s for the header, and you just use a piece of OSB to go in the middle. Just makes up for the space that the 2x4 support is going to go under here. And the reason why you put that little spacer in there is to make up for that gap. Otherwise, if you don't have the spacer in there, it's going to have that extra lip there. That's all that the spacer's for, really. I think basically you're just making a sandwich. Two 2x6s cut at length that you need, and then put some liquid nails in between, like mayonnaise, just so it all sticks together. And then you just screw it all together. Here's what the door frame looks so far. Looks like it's working out. I just have to figure out how to attach that. I'm not sure the official way of doing that, so I had to do some research, but at least I got it this far. Starting with the trim is how I'm doing it. There's just the lengths of 10 feet, and I just overlapped the two 10 feet. Not really that difficult, just kind of snipping where you could bend it, and you could watch videos on how people do that. But I just want to show you real quick what I was doing with this. But I'm super unmotivated today. The only thing keeping me going is just taking advantage of the weather and getting that roof on there. As soon as I get the roof on, I can relax a little bit and pace out my time with all the rest of the stuff.